Hello everyone, this is Dr. Geeta Nayak Vislawat, Assistant Professor of Public Administration, Government Degree College, Hayatnagar. Today's topic is Evolution of Public Administration. This topic is the part of BA first year, first semester syllabus under Introduction to Public Administration module. And we are going to learn the evolution of public administration, the stages involved in the evolution, and the journey of public administration from its evolution as subject, not as field of practice. It is under field of subject. We are going to learn the stages, the history of public administration, and everything. So, evolution of public administration as a field of systematic way of study of public administration is the modern discipline. We all know that it is the public administration is divided from political science in the year 1887. So it has 130 plus years of history, and it is most youngest subject in social sciences. In 18th century, actually the base of public administration as a subject had long passed. In the 18th century, Australia and Cameralism in Germany was concerned with the systematic management of government. They want to run the government systematically, and further they concentrated and they shown interest in developing science of public administration. With the growing importance of governments in the wake of expanding public institutions, or in the wake of Second World War, after Second World War, Industrial Revolution, these all the things led to expansion of government, and at the same time expansion of public functions and public institutions, uh, which is the result of public administration, and it become a highly complex and more specialized subject in recent past. So towards the 18th century in the USA, meaning and scope of public administration was defined by Hamiltons, the Federalists. So the evolution of public administration has passed through several phases of development. As I already told you that the evolution of public administration is having different stages to become a proper subject. So these are all the stages we are going to learn in the earlier slides. So according to Robert T. Golombisky, one of the renowned public administrative thinker, according to him, public administration has developed as an academic field through a succession of 5 overlapping paradigms. So there are 5 stages. All the stages are overlapping with each other. So there are characterized and understood in terms of their locus and focus. Locus explains the geographical nature, where, and focus explains the what we have resulted and what we have got from the timing. So next, the politics and administration dichotomy from 1900 to 1926. This is the first stage according to Golombisky, and the second stage is the principles of administration from 1927 to 1937, and public administration and political science. It is also called as era of challenges. It is from 1938 to 1947, and fourth stage is public administration and management, or it is called as crisis of identity. So identifying the problems of public administration, it is from 1948 to 1970, and administration as administration or public policy perspective, it is from 1970s to 1990s, and public administration as governance, it is from 1990s. So coming to next slides, the first one is, the first stage is politics and administration dichotomy. It is from 1900 to 1926. Actually, public administration is evolved as a subject from 1887, but the evolution process we after that from 1900, according to Golombisky, he started staging the public administration study from 1900. So United States is said to be the birthplace of discipline of public administration. Actually, because Woodrow Wilson, he was uh, president of United States. So he was the father of public administration. He is the father of public administration, who scientifically separated administration and politics in the year 1887. So the history can be said to be began. Woodrow Wilson, the earliest thinker, outlined the concept of public administration is a separate discipline of study, the study of administration. It is an article which was published in 1887 in the Political Science Quarterly, emphasized separate study of public administration and from political science. So this is the base for separation of political science and public administration scientifically. Wilson argues that administration and politics are separate. According to him, field of administration is a field of business. So it is the field of business. According to him, field of administration is field of business. Administrative questions are not political questions because politics always looks for politicization. So administration always thinks for implementation of policies. So the basic nature is different. So administrative questions are not political questions. Wilson is the first thinker who argued that politics and administration were different functions. So Wilson is regarded as father of administration. And in the year 1900, Frank J. Goodnow published Politics and Administration, which is another significant contribution to the development of public administration. The principal purpose of the dichotomy was to argue that public administration be separated from politics. The main purpose of political science and administration dichotomy is to separate both the subjects scientifically. So public administration be separated from politics. He described politics as a means of the state through legislative policies. It actually politics, the main purpose of politics is legislation, and the administration means implementing the policies. Just now I told you the main purpose of administration is implementation of policies. The main purpose of political science is legislation or making the public policies. So in the year 20th century, many American universities started increase interest in government. In a report published in 1914, American Political Science Association stated that one of the concerns of political science was to train specialists for government positions. So one of the function of political science is to train persons for government positions. And in 1926, L.D. White, he is also another thinker, renowned thinker, and according to him, he created for having the first textbook on public administration, which is Introduction to the Study of Public Administration. The first textbook is Introduction to the Study of Public Administration. He called for a unity of public administration based on scientific management and aimed at coping with social change through administrative process. So he concentrated on social change and administrative process combinedly. So in the year 1926, L.D. White wrote a first book in public administration. Next comes to period 2 or stage 2. This stage is called as the Principles of Administration, which is from 1927 to 1937. It is of 10 years. In this period, the focus was almost wholly on efficiency of public administration. The main concept of this stage is the thinkers who are present at this stage, they mainly concentrated on efficiency and developing principles of public administration and developing theories in public administration, and they want to make public administration is scientifically valuable subject. So they concentrated on efficiency of public administration. Its central theme is to prepare principles of public administrations. Scholars have argued that administration is administration, irrespective of the nature and concept of the work, because the principles of administration have universal validity and relevance. They thought that the principles of administration have universal acceptancy and relevance. So here comes the classical theory. Most of the thinkers from classical theory, they propounded the important organizational principles, and which were still relevant in 21st century also. The F.W. Taylor, he was the father of the scientific management theory. He wrote for Shopman and 1903 Principles of Scientific Management in 1911. He insisted on a high degree of specialization and propounded a theory of function foremanship in its cause. So functional foremanship and everything is proposed by F.W. Taylor, who was scientific management for theory's father. So due to this, the administration become converted into scientific day by day. The main publications during this period are W.F. Willoughby's Principles of Administration, which was published in 1927, Henry Fayol, Industrial and General Management, which was published in 1916. Henry Fayol is called the father of classical theory. He propounded 14 principles of management, and he is the father of general management also. His famous book, General Management, it was republished in 1943. And he propounded most important principles of public administration. Mary Parker Follett, she is another lady administrative thinker. Her books are Creative Experience in 1924, Onward Industry in 1931. The main theory of Mary Parker Follett is conflict resolution. The conflict resolution is the main theory of Mary Parker Follett. She is the bridge between classical theory and human relations theory. Then next comes to Mooney and Rayleigh. Mooney and Rayleigh are another classical thinkers who wrote Principles of Administration. And last but not the least, Gulick and Urwick. These are the main important classical thinkers. The Gulick, who propounded the 10 principles, and Postcarp acronomy, the functions of manager, and Urwick gave the 29 principles of administration, and they both combinedly wrote the famous book Papers on Science of Administration. In 1937 it was released. It is the famous, one of the most famous book in public administration, which gave life to classical theory, and it made classical theory its heights. So Principles of Public Administration represents the new thrust of the discipline. So it is encouraged the thrust in the discipline. It applied the techniques of science to the solutions of problems by organizing the administering with economy and efficiency. So I already told you, Henry Fayol defined admission in the terms of POCCC. He gave the acronym POCCC: planning, organization, control, so coordination and everything. Then Gulick coined the acronym to administrative techniques, that is Postcarp: planning, organization, staffing, directing, cooperation, reporting and budgeting. So this acronym given by Gulick. Public administration reached its reputational zenith during this stage. In this period, the general view was that public administration is a separate activity with its own well-marked field and principles. The field of policies the field of policies was policy making, while that of administration was execution of the policy. Administration was nothing but management. In this stage, they thought that administration was nothing but management. So they concentrated on principles of management, and they concentrated on different principles of organization. So it should be possible to discover the best way of principles of managing everything. So they concentrated on principling or managing everything. Next comes to third stage. It is the era of challenges. It is from 1938 to 1947. In this time, the theories of human relations and behavioral approach were evolved. I already told you that Mary Parker Follett is the bridge between classical theory and human relations theory. Here, in this era, we are going to learn about human relations theory and behavioral theory. Both theories are evolved by 1938. In between 1938 and 1947. Uh, these two theories questioned the base of public administration, mainly the principles of public administration they questioned. According to them, administration plays an important role in policy making, which is the activity of politics in the general. So, administration it plays an important role in policy making, because actually the policy makers are indirectly the bureaucrats. So implementation is also done by the bureaucrats. So in generally, policy making is the main purpose of politics in general, but it will be done by administrators only. At the same time, the principles of administration were challenged and opposed on the basis of universal relevance, because the principles which were given by classical thinkers like Henry Fayol or Gully Kurvik, these all are not having relevance, and they're uh, they're not scientific. According to the situations, the purpose of these principles are changing, so they question the universality and the scientific nature of these principles, and these principles are having overlapping nature, lack of scientific validity. The principle structure of organization was criticized due to its mechanical approach, because of emphasis on basic structure of organization, and this theory neglected the human angle in the organization. Actually, classical theory is called as mechanistic theory, because it eliminated the human in organization, human angle or human in organization. So it is called mechanical theory. So the human relations theory thinkers or behavioral theory thinkers questioned the basic nature and principles of administration. The most important critics of this era is by Herbert A. Simon. He is the father of bureaucratic theory, and he rejected bounded rational theory actually, and he rejected the concept of politics and administration dichotomy and recommended an empirical approach. At the same time, he called principles of organization as proofs and myths in his book the Proofs of Administration, which was published in 1946. In his book, he clearly mentioned that the principles of administration are the management principles which were uh, mm, given by classical thinkers, are not having scientific validity, they are overlapping, they are not having universal relevance. So he called them as props, because props also changes according to the situations. Just like props, these principles are changing according to the situations. So he called them props. According to Robert Dahl, the evolution of science of public administration has three problems. There is no science of administration unless the place of normative values are made clear, unless the area of man in public administration is proper understood, and the comparative studies which may help to discover principles and generalize the transcendent nature of boundaries and peculiar historical experiences. Some of the important books question the classical theory are from this era of challenge period are the functions of executive, which was published in 1938, elements of public administration of 1946, the proofs of administration by uh, the proofs of public administration by Herbert A. Simon, 1946, Administrative Behavior in 1947, The Science of Public Administration, Three Problems by Robert Dahl in 1947, and the last book is The Administrative State of 1948. The next stage is Crisis of Identity, which was from 1948 to 1970. The crisis of identity. In this, the after the era of challenge, the crisis of identity, the identifying public administration properly, once again identifying the subject and collecting the pieces of subject, collecting the pieces into one subject. The principles of administration and policies administration dichotomy opposed by thinkers created identity problem for the discipline of public administration. Hence, scholars divided into two groups. So, due to the questioning nature by different thinkers and due to different opinions in thinkers, this public administrative discipline and the scholars divided into two groups. Some of them encouraged for reunion with political science, and that this idea was not encouraged by political scientists. They are opposite. The political science scientists are opposed to mingle with public administration. Other scholars encouraged the concept of administrative science. According to them, the administration is administration, irrespective of its setting. Hence, in both conditions, public administration lost its separate identity and it has to merge with larger big field. So it has to merge with different fields. In the development activities in this era are rise of socio-psychological approaches. The socio-psychological approaches are needs hierarchy by Abraham Maslow, XY theory, McGregor's XY theory. These are all the some of the Renesas Likkert's theory and Hedgeberg theory. These are all the some of the theories developed in this time. And growth of comparative public administration. The after Second World War, the third world countries were released from colonies rule and they become independent, and the comparative public administration was the separate part of public administration is developed. F.W. Riggs was the father of comparative public administration. And next one, conceptualization of development administration was also developed in this era, and rise of critical perspective of public administration. The critical perspective of public administration is also developed in this stage. Then comes to public policy perspective. The stage 5 is public policy perspective. The most important feature of this stage is evolution or development of the concern of public policy analysis. So, in 1968, the Minnowbrook Conference was held with the main purpose, the emerging theories of public administration. So, after in 1968 in America, they Minnowbrook Conference. They conducted Minnowbrook Conference in Syracuse University. All youth and new generation thinkers attended this meeting, and there they explore with new public administration concept. The public administration, they supported the interest of new public administration movement. The literature of new public administration stretched 4 themes. They are relevance, values, equality, and change. So the new thinkers or young thinkers proposed for new public administration. The main theme of new public administration is developing relevance in subject, creating values, and giving equality, and the changing the subject according to the situations. Public administration are shown much interest in related fields of political science, political economy, and policy analysis, etc. The new idea of public policy approach was accepted, and traditional idea of politics administration dichotomy was abandoned. So this politics administration dichotomy was rejected and new ideas were accepted. According to Robert T. Golombisky, The evolution of public administration is built upon the two basic themes: the interpretation or mixing of politics and administration in all levels, or the programmatic character of all administration. At the same time, the public choice theory was evolved, and next new public management was first used in this theory also evolved, and this was first used by C. Hood in 1991. It explained the government policies since 1980s, and due to this, public administration has become an interdisciplinary, got social relevance, and expanded its scope. In new public management, the new public management was the another it advocated introduction of 3 M's in public services. The 3 M's are market, managers, and measurements. So these 3 M's are introduced by new public management, which give an importance to markets, and the administration given importance to privatization slowly from NPM. So it slowly it is expanding its scope and its relevance. The last stage is public administration as governance. It was from 1990 onwards. The new role of public administration was suggested by UN General Assembly on the occasion of the 16th anniversary of United Nations Program on Public Administration. This new role of public administration in improving overall governance is carried out in the context of the response to local, national, regional, and global pressures, as well as challenges for survival, development, and change. In this era, we are able to see three stages. One is governance, second one is e-governance, third one is m-governance. These are the changing context in public administration. Nowadays, it is developing like anything. The post-1991 reforms created, the LPG reforms created the change in administration, which give rise to governance or good governance, e-governance, and m-governance. Governance is an important function of public administration. It is a broader concept which is defined as the manner in which power is exercised in the management of a country's economy and social resources for development. The good governance is considered an important requirement for nation's development. So it is one of the main important breakthrough in after 1991. And next one is e-governance is considered as an important tool for good governance. The use of information and technology in government as acquired, and appellation of e-governance or e-government application. E-governance is also sometimes called digital government, as the new system uses internet as the gateway or the means by which people and government get connected to each other. So here, internet plays an important role in completing the government tasks. So it encourages the accountability, transparency, and it reduces the time also. In this way, the e-governance developed. Nowadays, the next another concept is m-governance is started. The m-governance is the one of the other tool of e-governance. It is also one of the tool of e-governance. Here we are using technology, the mobile technology. M-governance means mobile governance. Through mobile, mobile will be the gateway or means which people and government get connected to each other. So here we are able to complete our government works or our other many works through mobile. So it is a new concept, m-governance. In this way, public administration changing according to the changing situations, technology, and changing conditions. So now according to the situations, public administration is expanding its scope, expanding everything to be on toes, and now it is using all the technology and everything for developing accountability, transparency, and reducing the red tapeism. Next, evolution of public administration in India. Uh, at the same time, in India, in 1930, Lucknow University became the first one to have one full compulsory paper on public administration in political science subject. So after that, in 1937, Madras University started diploma course in public administration, and in 1948, 1950s, Nagpur University started first public administration separate full-fledged department, which is called Public Administration and Local Self-Government Department in Nagpur University. Then comes to IIPA, Indian Institute of Public Administration, was established in 1954 after independence by the recommendations of Paul H. Appleby. And in 1983, UPSC introduced public administration as full independent subject in mains syllabus in civil services exam. Today, most of the universities, colleges, and research institutions are engaged in the research and teaching activities in India. So, day by day, public administration is spreading its scope, and it become very much important. Without administration, there is no civilization. So, if you have any doubts, please contact 9849373729. Thank you.